Welcome back to Talking Fitchburg. And in our special guest segment today, it's Jacob. Jacob, how do you say your last name? Because I feel like I'm going to blow it.
Belansky.
Belansky. You could have backed me up there, Preston.
I could have.
But you like to see me struggle. I get it.
Right.
I get it.
That's right, Jeremy.
Jacob, thanks for coming in. We're going to recap last night's council meeting and another emotional, heart-filled meeting last night, right?
Yeah, we'll get to that. That was towards the end. The more important one is solar panels on the library. We started there, and it had actually a lot more discussion than I expected personally. But what the solar panels been talked about for a while since the library's been built. It was prepared to have solar panels, but they opted not to. And now there's a discussion. There's $25,000 earmarked. Last night, there was a resolution before it to not even pay for the solar panels, instead to do an investor option. And the idea, as best I can understand it, is that they would begin negotiating with people who would want to buy the solar panels, put them on the library, hook it into the library system, and any cost savings over roughly 6 years. And of course, the resolution authorizes them to move forward with discussing all the details. But the idea is that the investor makes some money back, and then on the front end of that, the city doesn't pay anything up front. There was some alders that felt that there were too many potential points of failure. There's questions about if the solar panel damages the roof, who pays for that? And these were all things that City Administrator Pat Marsh said, well, the devil's in the details. This is authorizing us to start looking into it. The ones who voted against basically said, let's, if this is a good idea, let's just buy it. Let's talk options. Let's not go this route that has so many points of failure. But ultimately, it passed, so the city's going to move forward with looking for investors to put the panels up, possibly saving $25,000 from this year's budget.
And I think with solar panels, it's the long-term payback. Like, it doesn't pay back necessarily and for a very long time out. So I think that's what keeps this one kind of up in the air and going. So awesome.
Exactly.
All right, then we moved on to a public hearing and budget amendments. So
yeah, another surprising one. A lot of people showed up in public hearing time, non-agenda items to talk about the Badger Prairie Needs Network. And for anyone who doesn't know what that is, it serves both Verona and Fitchburg. It's located on 1200 Verona Road now on a 7,500 square foot building. Really neat building, and everyone came forward. Basically, they operate off private donations. They're not a city service, but they're turning to both Fitchburg and Verona, saying maybe it would be a good idea for you guys to put this in your budget. About 70% of the people they serve come from Fitchburg, even though they're located in Verona. We had a great article on it in Fitchburg Star from reporter Samantha Christian. So they kind of came, a lot of support for, a lot of people standing up talking about what they do, and this ties in nicely with one of the budget amendments, both from Julia Radafrada and Dorothy Krause. Put in budget amendments authorizing $10,000 in the budget for Badger Prairie Needs Network. That discussion, of course, will happen tonight at the Committee of the Whole, but a lot of very positive energy surrounding that, and it looks like the city will put their stake in it. We'll see, though.
Right. So we were watching it before the show started this morning, and we were trying to figure out what they were talking about. So see, I already learned something right here.
But I'm glad you quick mentioned it, that tonight there is Committee of the Whole, which people can watch here on FACTv, of course, on our government channel. So if you're interested in anything that you're hearing about right now, check that out tonight.
And people should be forewarned that they have no backup option, no second date. They are going to debate it until every amendment is agreed on. So as the mayor said last night, bring your blankets and pillows. We could be here all night.
Well, they did their best to get them down, combine them down and stuff. So, but either way, it's gonna be a long night, I would say, for those guys. So
if you can't stay up the whole time, we'll have it again, of course, re-airing as we always do.
Make sure you call our station if our guy who's running the show. So, just kidding. All right, and then finally, we had a veto, third veto in 6 months.
Yes, third veto, very emotional. Comments were made by alders. The veto itself revolves around an ad hoc committee to look into a new police station. And so the background of that is that the police need a new station, and there's a study that was done looking at what the best options were, expanding City Hall or building a new building. When it came to put the money for this into the capital improvement plan, some alders were very concerned about where this $25 million came from, where this number came from, and they ultimately voted to remove it from the plan and discuss it later. And as part of that, the actual resolution that led to this veto was an ad hoc committee created by the council president instead of the mayor. And this goes back to, sort of this division, this I don't want to say distrust, but disliking of how, the committee members that the mayor has picked in the past. So they passed a resolution 7-1 authorizing the council president to create this, committee to look into it. And the mayor vetoed it. And in that letter, he said, "I will create a commission." But what came out last night is a lot of bad blood going back to Mayor Arnold's Alder days. Essentially, anyone who's been in those council chambers for any amount of time sort of sees there's a division, and the division on the council is 5-3. Generally, obviously, the alders vote how they want, but so that's enough to pass resolutions, but it's not enough to override mayoral vetoes. And so the city keeps kind of finding itself in this position where the council does something to go past what the mayor would like, and the mayor in turn vetoes it to sort of force them back to the table. So, last night ultimately the veto was sustained, and the committee will be created. It should include Stern and Carpenter, and they will look into how that number, that 25 million was arrived to, and see what they can come up with.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Crazy meetings.
Yeah. That was late, and after that, it seemed like everyone was ready to end the meeting. I have never seen an adjournment happen so quickly. So,
So tonight you got committee of the whole.
Right.
They review the amendments, and then coming up in November, we get
it should be next council meeting. Then we'll have a budget, and we'll see.
So you guys will be covering that, and we'll have you back here to talk about it, I'm sure.
If there's enough coffee, absolutely.
Oh, yeah, we can provide you that. You just gotta let us know.
I should remember that, yeah.
We'll get you that. So, all right, Jacob, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll get this posted up online so everybody can check it out. And make sure you check out the Fitchburg Star. It's out there. All right, coming up next, we wrap up the show for today. We'll be right back.
I've always wanted to go to college. That helps you evolve as a person.